and welcome to a new episode of The Week That Was, TIOL's News Roundup. A lot of news unfolded during the week, and we bring you a filtered version of all the news. What is there in a name? Only controversy, especially if it involves renaming age-old institutions such as the High Courts, in keeping with the updated city names. In 1995, under the Shiv Sena regime, when the name of the city was changed from Bombay to Mumbai, the High Court as an institution chose not to follow suit. Subsequently, other metro cities too changed their names. In 2001, the name of Calcutta city was changed to Kolkata. But again, the Calcutta High Court, as the oldest High Court in India, continued to retain its nomenclature. Another major Indian city, like Madras, too changed its name. But the name of the High Court never changed to Chennai High Court. The judiciary maintained its distance from politics. Let's now turn to Mr. Sudipto Banerjee, who will tell us how are High Courts named.
There is no such clear laid-down provisions for naming or changing the names of High Courts. But since the power of establishment of High Court is vested with the Parliament under Article 214 of the Constitution, it can be inferred that powers to change the name is also vested with the Parliament. Further, coming to the issue of naming of High Courts after capital city or state, this is again a discretion of the Parliament. For better understanding this issue, let's quickly peep into the history of naming of High Courts. There are several High Courts like Bombay High Court, Calcutta High Court, Madras High Court, Patna High Court, Allahabad High Court, which were all christened with the names of the cities because these courts were established prior to independence, when the respective states were not even in existence. Post-independence, after creation of the states, the High Courts are usually named after the respective states.
Is it always after the capital city or the state? What is the process for change in the name of a High Court? Especially when Andhra Pradesh High Court name was changed to include Telangana.
The Andhra Pradesh High Court was renamed as High Court of Judicature at Hyderabad in view of bifurcation of the state into Telangana and truncated Andhra Pradesh via Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014, which was passed by the Parliament. This High Court serves as a common High Court for both the states. Section 31 of the said Act clearly provides that a separate High Court for Andhra Pradesh will be established by again passing a law by the Parliament, and the High Court of Judicature at Hyderabad shall continue to remain the High Court for the Telangana state.
States got the impetus and pressed for a change in the name of High Courts to reflect the new name, especially the states of West Bengal and Maharashtra. But there is no prescribed procedure under law for renaming a High Court. When a city changes its name, there is a procedure. The proposal is forwarded by the state government, which needs to be approved by the Home Ministry after obtaining a no objection clearances from the Survey of India, Ministry of Railways, Department of Posts, Ministry of Science and Technology and the Intelligence Bureau. Only then the name change may be officially pronounced. But for High Courts, there is no such prescribed procedure, except through a bill passed by Parliament. But now the government proposes to rectify this. It is planning to bring in a new law to appease political sentiments. Under the new law, the President of India shall be vested with the power to rename various High Courts to reflect the change in the names of the cities after which the High Courts have been named. So it may well be Mumbai High Court and Kolkata High Court, or even Chennai High Court. The name change shall be in consultation with the state governments and the Chief Justices of the High Courts concerned. Earlier, the Law Ministry rejected a procedure for renaming High Courts on a case-to-case basis through an Act of Parliament, like it was done in the case of the High Court of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana through a bill passed in Parliament. The new draft bill vesting the powers to rename a High Court with the President of India may soon find its way to the Cabinet for approval. Let's go to Neha for some lottery news.
There is a saying that lottery is for those who are bad at math. But it is certainly not the case with the Ministry of Finance, which knows that this industry is a big-time lottery with an estimated turnover of Rs 1 lakh crore a year. Since the year 2003, the North Block is trying hard to bring the sale of lottery under service tax net. The laws have been amended several times to achieve it. But all these amendments in 2010 and 2015 in the Finance Act 1994 are proving too taxing for the Union government, giving a new twist to the battle of legal wits between the Ministry of Finance and Lottery Trade in India. The Sikkim High Court, in the case of future gaming, has held that the petitioners in buying and selling the lottery tickets is not rendering service to the state, and therefore their activity does not fall within the meaning of service as provided under clauses 31A and 44 of section 65B, and therefore outside the purview of explanation to the said section. In any case, since by the explanation the scope of section 66D, which is the main provision which is to be expanded, it would be ultra vires the Finance Act 1994 and is accordingly struck down. This is now to be seen whether the North Bloc takes the battle to the premises of Apex Court or not. After all, government's revenue cannot be left to the vagaries of lottery. Now let's go to Asha for some grave news.
Even as we went through the humdrum of life, a piece of history perished. The weekly public journal, the Gazette of India, sadly bowed down to the internet technology and died a quiet death on October 1st, 2015. The government shall no longer print the Gazette. As generations would recall, the Gazette of India was started as a publication by the Imperial British government to disseminate government information to the general public. But over the years, it attained a separate identity. It became the repository for all kinds of notifications relating to births, deaths, registration of marriages, adoption of children, change of names that needed to be published in the Gazette of India, without which the legal process could not be completed. But now the government printing presses publishing the Gazette have ground to a halt. The Department of Publication, in consultation with the Department of Legal Affairs, decided to stop the wastage of paper and the physical printing of the Gazette. Instead, it has switched over to an exclusive e-publishing of the Government of India Gazette notifications on its official website. The date of publishing shall be the date of e-publication on the official website. Gazette notifications can be accessed and downloaded free of cost and printed from the official website. Today we bring you a story from the Russian customs that seized a 19th century Vulami violin at the Kolsovo International Airport in Yekaterinburg, Russia, which was valued at 200,000 euros. An officer of the Ural region of the Federal Customs Service stated that it was a standard pattern for crooks to bring in cheap violins into Russia, which were exchanged for expensive ones and taken out of the country. However, this time, the so-called fraudster is none other than the solo violinist Mr. Joseph Spacek, who was the concert master of the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra. He was visiting Russia for the Eurasia International Music Festival. His only offense seems to be the lack of paperwork. He did not make a declaration of this expensive instrument as he entered Russia. Let's go to Neha now for news about a new body being set up under the Department of Law and Justice.
A new government body may soon be set up to streamline the negotiation and formulation of new international treaties. This Department of International Law could be a new wing under the Ministry of Law and Justice. A 31-member Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personal, Public Grievances, Law and Justice, headed by Congress MP E.M. Sudarshan Nachiyappan, made this recommendation to ensure that multiple international treaties on checking black money, promotion of investment, information exchange agreements and conventions are implemented effectively. Currently, the Legal and Treaties Division under the MEA negotiates all political treaties, agreements and conventions with foreign countries. However, treaty making is a specialized process requiring special knowledge of issues involved on the basis of which a treaty may be negotiated effectively. Hence, this move may protect India's interest in international fora and bring in more coordinated and holistic approach. Now let's hear some UN news.
The world is all set to go blue, UN blue. To celebrate the 70th anniversary of the United Nations, 160 iconic monuments, museums, buildings, bridges, and famous landmarks in 50 countries will be lit up in blue on October 24th. Blue, as you have guessed, is the official color of the United Nations, and October 24th is UN Day. Which world landmarks will glitter blue? Starting from dusk on October 23rd, Sydney's Opera House in Australia to the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt, from the statue of Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro to the Empire State Building in New York will be lit blue. Other landmarks include Russia's Hermitage Museum, the ancient city of Petra in Jordan, the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy, Edinburgh Castle, and the Westminster Hall in the United Kingdom, Table Mountain in Cape Town, South Africa, Japan's Skytree Tower, and the Alhambra in Spain. Will the Taj Mahal be lit up? Let's go to Neha for news about some export benefits for exporters.
India's exports have consistently fallen for the 9th consecutive month in August, which is enough to be the cause for concern. To encourage exports, the government is seriously considering the demand from exporters to release the interest subvention allocated in the budget this year. Incentives worth Rs 2,800 crore under the Mercantile Export from India scheme may soon be provided by adding more products and increasing allocations. Issues relating to transaction cost will also be taken care of to ensure that the Indian products remain competitive in the global market. The Commerce Ministry is also considering restoration of tax benefits to special economic zones to provide a cushion for exporters. Now for some CBI news from Asha.
The CBI is still weaving its case against liquor baron Vijay Mallya and his defunct company Kingfisher Airlines for diversion of funds to tax havens. Loans were taken from banks for leasing of aircraft from companies based in tax havens like Mauritius and Cayman Island. Using these bank loans, high rents were paid on the basis of inflated invoices. The CBI will also compel the 11 state-run banks to explain why loans of Rs 4,000 crore were extended to the now defunct company in spite of internal reports advising against it. CBI believes that more than Rs 1,300 crore was diverted into these tax havens. The CBI is also going to seek details of these companies and the money transfers through the letters rogatory process. While few may doubt the CBI claim of the modus operandi, bringing the offenders to book is what we shall await. Let's go on to some news about the Nobel Prize in Economics, which was awarded to 69-year-old British-American economist Professor Angus Deaton from Princeton University for his studies in consumption patterns by combining faster computers with information gathering to better understand economic trends. This would help in understanding individual choices and economic trends for designing public welfare policies. According to Professor Deaton, basing the extent of poverty on the count of people living on less than $1 a day would overstate the prevalence of poverty. Instead, surveys of individual household circumstances should be more reliable, for which the professor has evolved a refined approach to studying economic development as related to individual consumption choices. On this note, we conclude this bulletin of the week that was, TIOL's News Roundup. Please do write us your comments, counsel, criticism and even news at editor@tiol.in. You may subscribe to TIOL Tube to remain updated on new posts. Have a great weekend ahead.